Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker, and today what we're going to be doing is running through the Yoshimura LED light kits that I already have fitted on the front of the Kawasaki Z900RS, and we're also going to be fitting them to the rear. I'm not going to be wiring in the rear ones because of the space back there. I want to actually try get the correct connectors online and then I'll fit them up later, but I'm going to be fitting them and routing the wires and showing you how to do that and how to get in there up until that point. To mount these, because they're not the OEM giant ones, I previously used these. These were made by my friend Ben. I will link his channel if he wants me to. He's going to start doing 3D printing content at some point in the future. I am going to put more 3D printed stuff on for mounts and stuff at some point, just to test out different camera locations and whatnot. But today I did get these guys just because they're black, so they'll blend in a bit better. These Rizoma, which are also 100% 3D printed. Not only are they 3D printed, but they're actually thinner than the ones Ben did for me, so there's definitely less material in them. So you're paying probably about a 1000% markup on these when you buy them. So if you have access to a 3D printer and some form of black material, just use that. It's really not hard to get the size for these kind of blanked off areas, which I'll show you in a second, right, essentially. So first and foremost, to get into the front headlight on the Z900RS, you need to take off the bezel, I think it's pronounced. And to take off the bezel, it's quite easy. So this guy here, this tab, hooks in the top, and then you have two bolts, one here and one here, and they are a size, I don't know anymore because this has been used so many times. Pretty certain it's a 4? We'll say it's a 4mm Allen. And then to take out the headlight, could you please take hold of the camera? You can probably take it off if you want. We do have Toaster back in the camera today. I'm just going to move the lights here. So everyone say hello to Toaster. To take out the front headlight then, there are 4 screws. You want to use a Phillips. There's 1, 2, 3, and then this is the last one, 4. I already had this most of the way done. They are going into plastic, so when you put them back in, don't over torque them. And then the headlight, oh, I actually forgot one thing. So to take out the headlight properly, and this is important, we do also have, definitely not the right size. So these are from memory 5mm Allens, and you want to be careful with these because there's a screw here, there's also a screw here, and they're for adjusting the actual angle of the lens, so you don't want to touch them if you don't have to. You just want to take off these 3 bolts down here. I have done this before, by the way, obviously when I was fitting these front indicators, and also because I had to unplug this headlight for the track day. So this is the easiest way because this is a 3-point mount. You can be sure it's going to go back on in the same place. There you go, or sorry, 2-point mount. And as you can see, I already had it plugged out because I had it plugged out for the track day. So we're going to leave this to one side for a second. Those headlight units are very expensive, so be careful with them. And then in here, this is obviously the not stock version. So I have wired in, I hate lighting, you know that? It's my least favorite thing about making videos. I have wired in these resistor packs that I bought for like $5. And these are the connections that actually come with the Rizoma kit. Now obviously I didn't clean this up at all because I was in a rush at the time to get this back in before the track day. But it is nice in that if you pull back to here, so grey goes to the red wire. If you're doing this on your own bike, grey goes to the red wire and black goes to the black and yellow wire on these Kawasaki Z900RSs. From that then, you also have to dismount this front light unit, which is really easy. It's just these bolts here, both right and left. If you pop them out, this whole plastic cup lifts away, and then in behind, it's going to be hard to see, but if you can try get in there, where my finger's pointed, no, up. So in there, you need to mount one side of the plate. So 1 second and I'll show you what I mean. Always cut away from yourself when you're cutting and towards your camera person. Safety. I couldn't cut myself. Far too important. Oh, I laugh, but you know, it's also true. The packaging in this Reassembling kit almost seems like they're worried these are fragile, which they should be. I just think they're overcharging for what these are, but anyway. So essentially then what you want to do is these two guys here, you want to line them up, put one behind and one up front and sandwich them. And then the actual light component, you thread the bolt in this side and it basically just sits in. And they're actually very, very strongly mounted. And the nice thing about these is you can fit any aftermarket lights at them. You don't have to go for these nice Yoshimuras. And I'll just show you these for 1 second. So once they're done, what you end up with is this nice look. And these are LEDs, so they're gonna last a while, look nice. And the reason you have to put in these resistor packs is if you don't, you get a really fast blink on the lights. And that's the rear, so that's that covered off. I won't show you doing these, but they're actually really simple connectors. Essentially you want to strip your wire with the wire strippers, which I can do actually. I'll show you how to do that at the back basically in a minute with the old lights. But essentially what you want to do is strip the wire, put it in there, crush it closed, and then these are just what are called, I think they're called bullet connectors, but they just push together. It's really, really simple to do this particular job. Now at the back of the bike, if you don't know how to remove the rear seat, it's a little flapper down here that you pop open and use your key. Seat pops up and away. It's actually very simple. You should be able to figure it out, or you probably shouldn't do this. So this I have to remove myself because I added this. It's a Hepco & Becker. So this is a Hepco & Becker rear rack. I'm not going to go through removing and installing this because I have a video on that if you want to see it. And then for this guy, this is the actual rear section. Come in way closer, you want to be able to see this. So to remove this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. I already removed 2 just for speed. And then this should, as far as I remember, there's a grommet here. There's also a grommet here, which doesn't have rubber for me anymore. And there's a grommet at the back, which apparently doesn't have rubber for me anymore. The rubber has lasted really poorly on this bike. So to be fair to Kawasaki, this is one that clearly broke and someone super glued. You also can't get just a replacement rubber section. I didn't find the housing, so basically these are so expensive it doesn't make sense to replace them. And this one here, you can actually see, and I assume this is what happened to all of them, this rubber just literally tore itself under normal operating conditions. I wasn't riding on harsh roads, anything like that, and I got home one day after I'd actually gotten 2 lights off of Volts, so thanks Volts. You can have them back though, because I had to replace all 4 in the end. I had to replace one of the front ones that had been doctored up to work, and I got home off the V-Strom one day and came in and both of the rear ones had flopped down all sad. So I had to get all new lights. Once you are at this point, number 1, you can plug back in your backlight, which I had to plug out for the track. If you ever need to do that, it's in here. It's actually quite difficult to get to. Which way does that go? Is it the upside or the downside way? I'm gonna say it's this way. Like so. And then to replace these bottom sections, I'm pretty certain I'm gonna have to actually drop this lower. It does look like I'm going to have to. Yes? Hard to say, but I think I will. Weirdly enough, Yoshimura do send you rear mounts. My hand's getting too hot. It's all that brain power. Yoshimura with the light kit do send like rear mounts, which would probably be much easier to use than dropping this down, but I have a feeling it's made to go with their tail tidy. Such is life. Now, I'm not going to wire up these rear lights, and the reason for that is because I actually want to find these guys online or figure out a way to get a tool to release these pins so that I can reuse these guys, because here at the back, if you look, these are your two connectors, and you don't actually have much extra cable to play with. So this is the cable along here. It runs up this way, and it is really tight, and I don't have much extra, so I don't really want to be cutting off a lot of this covering if I don't have to. I want to try actually reuse it as much as possible. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be trying to find or release this connector here and fitting it onto the other wires. But I know this has been asked about. Some people have messaged me, so this is how you actually get to it, particularly the front one. And I know some people are asking, you know, how you get off that front light. It's actually very simple. You're talking, what, it's 1 to 6 bolts. So you have the 2 bolts from the side, you take off that bezel, and then the 4 screws into the plastic that's actually retaining the headlight unit itself, and then sorry, the 2 more bolts underneath, so 8 bolts altogether, or 4 bolts, 4 screws. But you can get that headlight out really quick, and that's for anyone who wants to do track days or whatever else. Rather than, you know, if you tape up your lights and leave them turn on, you can bake that tape onto your glass, and then it just kind of makes it really sticky and hard to fix. So you don't want to really do that. So not camera person failure, my failure. I forgot to record again before I showed this, so down here. To get this guy off and gain access. Oh, actually we're gonna have to figure out what the hell is going on there. It's not actually, it's actually not open to get in there to mount up a light. I assume it's openable. Okay, we'll figure that out in a second. Important point to dismount it is a bolt here, 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 and in there. It's a 5mm Allen bolt. And you can get in there without taking off this stuff if you want to. To get easier access, you could remove this. I've removed this in a previous video fitting the Hepco and Becker rear rack, but you absolutely do not have to remove this. There we go. Alright, so I decided to just remove this to keep my life easy. Now let's see, can we split this guy, which I'm hoping is easy. There are 4 screws right here. I'm kind of hoping this is all it requires to split it open. I will say a bit much, to be honest, Kawasaki, to get into your little plastic case of secrets. Like if you needed to replace your rear indicators, or what do they call them over here, blinkers, it's just a bit much, you know. I think you could have made it easier. There we go. Okay, so those 4 screws lets us get in here, and you can actually see this guy is a part of the old rear indicator, and as you can see, that rubber just ruptured. So absolute junk, trash, not a fan. So now what we're going to do is, because this makes it easier to wire later, this is actually the hard part of the job. What we're going to do is route the Yoshimura light kits. So this is the box you get with the Yoshimura light kit. Actually, I do really like these lights. I think they look really well made. It's Yoshimura, so they should be. They were not overly cheap. Don't need that. So this is what you get. You literally get your light with your prefixed bullet connectors. Come on, why are you fighting me? This is ridiculous. On camera as well, so embarrassing. And you also get your hardware to fit up the lights. You get your secondary bullet connectors and your covers here. So you don't want to put these on, and I will show you that just in case I decide to use the bullet connectors at a later date. It doesn't matter which side you put these on. Left is left, right is right, etc. There is no difference. So then for your bullet connectors, you can see these ones already have the rubberized fitting on, so you don't need to put this on this side. But how this works is you fit it over your other wire before you fit it up, and then later when you come back, that slides over like that and makes a nice watertight seal, which is how my front lights are, that I would have shown you earlier in the video. So if you're like one of the many people who join a video late and then are like, Oh, you didn't show me how to do that. Yes, I did. Rewind. Grab two of the way cheaper but actually much more expensive pieces. And you're gonna want to, which way does that go now? Bolts on last, yeah. So we want this on first. And essentially just feed bullet connector through, slide that all the way down. And that's gonna be, wait, I did that wrong. Did I? No, I didn't. I did it right, I'm a genius. I'm actually not a genius, but you probably already knew that. Then we're gonna feed that through there, which will later go up through here following this cable here. That's gonna go on there, and essentially we're gonna bolt it up until it's in the right place. But first, the wait is more. You have to get on your second, we're gonna call this a flooper flap. This is a flooper flap. So you wanna feed your wires through your secondary flooper flap. I made that slightly more difficult on myself by putting it through there to show you. And then you wanna put your washer through your little toe beans here. Bullet connectors. Toe beans, what's the difference? Like so. And then you want to fit your nut through the bullet connectors. This is a bit of a fiddly job. It's not on purpose. They actually were nice and fit the bullet connectors first. They could have left these bullet connectors unfitted and you'd have to do twice the work, which I do like that they did that. Then you want to push all this stuff down. This is the back of the bike. So, like I said, it's a bit fiddly to get this, but I mean, it does work really well. So then you're going to spin that on there, like so. I have to say, having a camera person makes this so much better. Thanks, Toaster. Everyone say thanks, Toaster. She's great most of the time. Sometimes she's not, but we won't talk about those times. They're grim. Make me sad, you know? It's when she hits me. Don't hit me, I'm sorry. Wait, that gives credence to my complaints. And then, so I will give that a little nip up with an actual tool later. But essentially, it's as easy as that to get that in here. Some disassembly required, but all in all, this wouldn't take you that long. And that's one done. So I'm gonna turn off the camera, I'm gonna fit the second one back up real quick, and then we'll jump back when we're actually fitting everything back up. The reason I'm showing you the back of the bike, how to route those cables, is I think that's the more difficult section. The front is a little bit easier. A little bit less going on up the front. It's actually a little bit easier to get to those wires and you definitely have more space to work, which is why I did cut the cables back up here again just to show you. Get in here, you. So again, this is where our original connectors were. So you can see I pulled back the cover. I cut my original connectors off, stripped my wire, which I'll show you in a second, pinched on my new bullet connectors into resistor pack, out of the resistor pack, into my light, and that's it. So you can do this, and I'll show you real quick how you strip a wire, just in case you've never seen a wire stripped. So imagine for a second you're like, but wait, GorillaBiker, I need to see what you're doing. So imagine for a second this piece of crap is actually usable. What you would do if you were going to do what I did there is just cut off your old connector, because we can't reuse it for whatever imaginary reason. You're going to grab your wire, you're going to strip it like so. I have so much stuff in my back pockets. Then a bullet connector goes onto the wire, and essentially what you do is you just crush these guys in with a tool. And what I do is I like to kind of push these arms, so these arms kind of pinch together, and once they're pinched together I grab them and I fold them down like an extra security. That's supposed to be, as far as I know, that's supposed to be the lock that kind of goes onto the non-metallic piece of your cable, and then the actual metal bit of your cable is pinched in there so it gets connected up when you push in your bullet connector. This turns into your conductive piece. And then what you do is you grab this piece of scheisse and you throw it away because it's crap. And Kawasaki genuinely, like, this is a 2019 bike. They should not, three should not have failed. One was clearly re-glued by someone and the bike was dropped. we'll give them a pass, even on both of them on the left side, but the right side, inexcusable. Junk. Are you recording?
Yeah.
Didn't you tell me? Right, so we have these fitted up.
See you and it.
The one thing I will say to be careful with is you will actually deflect these Rizoma very high quality pieces of equipment. So don't over tighten these bolts. Once that's back there, there is what looks like a little bit of plastic for probably noise isolation here. So make sure you leave that in there. And this slides in, you're not gonna see, but there's little gaps there. You'll see them when you're doing it. And that fits back in like so. And when you flip it over, the holes are all lined up. So grab one of your plastic screwball scrambles. Important thing, and I'll say it every video I ever screw into plastic, spin backwards like you're coming out first until it drops in. You might have been able to see that. And then tighten it up. You will feel it drop in onto the threads. So again, I'll try show you here. Spin, it falls in like that. So you can do it twice if you want to, there's no harm. And the reason you do that is you don't want to cut new threads into the plastic because it's a metal bolt, it will cut new threads into the plastic. All right, come on over here then, please. Come closer. All right. So I'm not going to keep speaking like that. To put these back in, so as you can see, I have my new wires ready to go. We're going to feed these up through here, like so. Grab them and give them an old tug. All the men in the audience will be well used to that anyway, huh? Once you get that up, oh god, I keep using innuendos, not even on purpose. Once you get this into position, it doesn't really have like a location. Oh, never mind, yes it does. That snapped perfectly into position. I was lying to you. What you want to do is just get one bolt and do a little slotteroonie in here. And once you get one bolt kind of slotted in and tightened up, like so, it holds itself. And then you just put back in your other bolts. Which one goes here, one goes here, and one goes here. Same thing with these. You don't want to go too tight on them. Big hands in the way, huh? She thinks I have big masculine hands at least, that's a bonus. You did say masculine, didn't you? Okay, she didn't say masculine, but I'll take it as a win. You tighten that one up, you tighten that one up, and you tighten that one up. And just for good measure, tighten that one up. And that's it, your rear section is on, so walk around here for a second. Young toaster. And as you can see, these are now mounted up. And number one, I think they look far better than the stock. Actually, just as a comparison, hold there. Look at the difference. Wow. Play wow sounds. Wait, I'm the editor, I'm not gonna do that. So that is the difference. I think the new ones look way better. Probably what the bike should have really come with in the first place. In Europe, they did come with much better looking indicators. These were for America only. I don't know why they did this. These are horrible. Please get rid of them, especially since they break anyway. So that's essentially it. You just put the plastic fairing back on in reverse. I'm not finished back here, so I'm not going to put it back together yet. And yeah, it's genuinely not a difficult job. Again, the reason I'm not wiring this up now is I want to buy these connectors online just so I can keep the back here looking a bit smoother. Actually, one second, I'll show you something real quick. Stay right there. Also, just to show you, the resistors I got were Oxford ceramic resistors. They are 18 watt or 10 ohm. That was a terrible throw, I'm disappointed in myself. But the good thing is I actually can show you how bullet connectors go. So essentially, and the nice thing is they made it kind of idiot proof. Oxford did, because as you can see, you have one bullet like this bullet, smaller little weenie bullet, and then you have the receptacle bullet. These are commonly called male and female connectors, but we're going to call it receptacle and little bullet. And essentially all you do is red to red, push that in there until it snaps closed, push that down there, and that cover should theoretically go over there like that. And you do the same with the black side, and push it in till it snaps, pull that down and get the cover up over it. Now theoretically, if you had fitted the bullet connectors to these wires down here, you'd be good to go. One thing to note, obviously, is I didn't show you which was right and left. There's a good reason for that. It's because I forgot. It doesn't actually matter, because if you mix it up, when you test it up front, just swap them over. It's really that simple. So that's the resistor pack fitted up, and I might end up actually fitting these as bullet connectors. It's just I would rather use the stock connectors, because I just think they're a bit nicer. So we'll wait and see what I will do. I might make a short on it in the end, whatever one I do pick, but that's it.
Now you can go.
Why, thank you very much, camera person, very demanding, huh? If you've watched, thank you very much for watching. If you found this video somewhat informative, do please let me know in the comments. If there's anything you would like to see extra, again, let me know. I mean, I have older lights and whatnot. I can show you a little bit of wiring on it. I am not the best at wiring. It's why I have generally tended to avoid showing it on the channel. It is not my forte. I am a mechanical person. Wiring is something I do if I have to. Definitely not something I like doing. And I know everyone's like, right now, come on, fitting up a few bullet connectors isn't exactly wiring. And I agree, but again, I never do a pretty job on it. So, like I said, I tend to avoid showing it if I can. But like I said, I hope you found this helpful. I hope it at the very least showed you how you can get in to both the front and rear lights on a Kawasaki Z900RS. And honestly, a lot of motorcycles, especially modern ones, are very similar, especially Japanese modern ones are very similar to this. BMW is a little bit weirder with their lights, especially anyone who does the sequential stuff. There's different stuff going on there. You do need to get something that's compatible with it. But for Japanese bikes, thankfully, they still tend to be pretty straightforward. So yeah, if you watched, thanks again for watching. Like I said, special thank you as always to all of my patrons, of which Volts is one, and Volts did give me 2 old Ducati LED lights that he had, so I could get the Z900RS back on the road. Sadly, like I said, 2 more of my lights collapsed, and I had to replace all 4 of them. Very happy with the yoshimura fit and finish. I might eventually go to yoshimura like head back system as well for the exhaust, and then get it tuned. So lots more to come on this bike. I really haven't gotten to do half of what I want to yet, but we'll get there eventually. Unfortunately, I'm not mega wealthy, so I can't buy everything all at once. One thing I'm definitely doing coming up is Racetech springs front and back. Not sure will I send all the suspension components out to Racetech to have them do it. I might, or I might do it myself. We'll see. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, like I said, please do. I hate doing this, but it does apparently help. So if you liked the video, please do give it that thumbs up button. I hate myself. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do maybe subscribe if you want to see more bike videos. And yeah, until next time, thanks again for watching. Adios. Outro crew. Not gonna lie, right? Today, if you look that way, I was also going to do a video on the Valkyrie. However, then I realized that you do have to take off the rear wheel to take off the rear caliper, and that pissed me off because I haven't built my motorcycle lift yet, or put it together. Not built it, just put it together. So then instead I did a Z900RS video. So yeah, these are not planned or scripted, so hopefully you enjoyed them. What would you have preferred to see? preferred, there we go, to see me taking off all of the brakes on the Valkyrie, because they're all kind of sticky, so I can't actually move the bike too easy, or the Z900RS. You're going to see both at some point anyway. And aside from that, have you ever done indicators on your bike, and were they as straightforward as what the Z900RS is? I really do wish it was easier to remove and replace those OEM connectors. They should really be reusable. Everything like that should be reusable in my opinion. Anyway, thanks outro crew, bye.